Hi friends, we are back. If you haven't watched it already, I have a new how-to tutorial up. It is a drawing tutorial. As I announced on there, I'm going to try to put out a lot of YouTube videos on Wednesdays because on Wednesdays you guys aren't on campus and it gives me a little bit more time to do them. Alright, so back to Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Last Straw. Alright, so we left off on a Monday. When me and Rally got to our bus stop today, we found a nasty surprise. There was a piece of paper taped to our street sign, and it said that, effective today, our bus route was rezoned. And what that means is now we have to walk to school. That would be no fun. Well, I'd like to talk to the genius who came up with that idea because our street is almost a quarter of a mile from the school. Me and Raleigh had to run to make it to school on time today, and what really stunk was when our regular bus passed by us and was full of kids from Worley Street, the neighborhood right next to ours. The Worley Street kids made monkey noises when they passed us, which was really annoying because that's exactly what we used to do when we passed by them. It's payback. Someone scribbled on their faces. I'll tell you one reason it's a bad idea to make kids walk to school. These days, teachers give you so much homework that with all the books and papers you have to carry home, your backpack ends up weighing like 100 pounds. And if you want to see what kind of an effect that has on kids over time, all you have to do is look at Roderick and some of his friends. Speaking of teenagers, Dad scored a pretty big victory today. The baddest teenager in our neighborhood is this kid named Linwood Heath, and he's kind of like Dad's arch enemy. Dad has probably called the cops on Linwood Heath about 50 times. So there's teenagers, and there's the baddest teenager. He said, "Dag nab, you rotten teenagers." I guess Linwood's parents got sick of his act because they sent him off to a military academy. You'd think that would have made Dad pretty happy, but I don't think he'll be satisfied until every teenager on the planet gets sent off to juvenile hall or Alcatraz or something like that, and that includes Roderick. Yesterday, Mom and Dad gave Roderick some money to buy books so he could study for the SATs, but Roderick spent the money on a tattoo instead. His tattoo says Loaded Diaper. It's his band's name. I've still got a little time before I turn into a teenager, but the minute I do, I guarantee you Dad will be looking for the first chance to ship me out. Monday. For the past week or so, Manny has been getting out of bed every night and coming downstairs. Instead of putting him right back to bed, Mom lets Manny sit with us and watch TV. It's really not fair because when Manny is with us, I'm not allowed to watch any of the shows I like. All I can say is, when I was a kid, there wasn't any of this getting out of bed stuff. I did it once or twice, but then Dad put a stop to it real quick. So there's Manny. Hi. There was this book Dad used to read to me every night called The Giving Tree. It was a really good book, but the back of it had a picture of the author, this guy named Shel Silverstein. But Shel Silverstein looks more like a burglar or a pirate than a guy who should be writing books for kids. Dad must have known that picture kind of freaked me out because one night after I got out of bed, Dad said, "If you get out of bed again tonight, you'll probably run into Shel Silverstein in the hallway." That really did do the trick. Ever since then, I still don't get out of bed at night, even if I really need to use the bathroom. I don't think Mom and Dad read Manny any Shel Silverstein books, which probably explains why he keeps getting up after they put him to bed. I've heard some of the stories Mom and Dad read to Manny, and just let me say that these people who write these books really have a racket going on. First of all, there are hardly any words in them, so I'm sure it only takes about 5 seconds to read one. Silly bear yawning, silly bear sad, silly bear sleeping, silly bear glad. The end. Look at Manny. I told Mom what I thought of Manny's books, and she said that if they were so easy to write, then I should try writing one myself. So that's exactly what I did. Trust me, it wasn't hard either. All you have to do is make up a character with a snappy name and then make sure the character learns a lesson at the end of the book. Now all I need to do is mail this thing off to a publisher and wait for the money to start rolling in. Wise up, Mr. Shropshire by Greg Heffley. Once upon a time, there was this man named Mr. Shropshire who thought all these crazy thoughts. I don't know much, but I do know one thing. Polar bears are some useless animals. One day, Mr. Shropshire took his car for a ride. Here I go. But then, oops. He went right off the bridge. And then, Mr. Shropshire, you would have drowned, but luckily, Tobook here was sitting on an iceberg and he saved your life. And so, before I said that polar bears are some useless animals, but now I can see that not every polar bear is so useless after all. The end. Okay. See what I mean? The only thing I noticed after I finished the book was that I forgot to make it rhyme. But the publisher is going to have to pay me extra if they want that. Let's see how many pages we got. Alright, we'll find out next time what happens on Greg's Saturday. I will see you guys then.